Hey guys, what's up? It's Ability here, and I am back with another video, and this video is the first casual video in so long. We have been making videos where we do a lot of editing, and it's all like official sort of, which is good. I think those videos, you guys like them. We've been getting a lot of good feedback on them, a lot of comments, a lot of thumbs up, which is all great. But I think it's important that we have like a balance of casual videos and those scripted videos. So this is a casual video. I'm just going to be maging in this video, talking about stuff. Nothing really too important, but just stuff that's been going on. 2.45, kind of my thoughts on it in a casual light. So yeah, I'm happy to bring this video. But first things first, this is the microphone that I have been using all along to capture, like my voice in all the speaking videos that I do. It's pretty bad. I was listening back to some old videos, and especially when making the past videos, if you watch our last few videos, my voice does not sound like this in it, and that's because I recorded actually using my phone's microphone. I recorded an MP3 on there, put it on my computer, and then put that into the editing software and use that instead of this microphone because it's so bad, and that's really annoying to do. So that's why it sounded not as bad as this. My phone's microphone is slightly better, but I actually got a new microphone just so that I don't make you guys listen to this. I figure if I'm going to be doing speaking videos at all, it should be better quality than this. This is pretty bad. So now we're going to switch from the old quality to the new quality.
And this is the quality of the new microphone. What a switch. So I hope you guys like this microphone a lot better. I think it is much easier to listen to than the drowning background noise and just horrible in general sound of the last microphone, which is the microphone that's just native on my computer. So this one is the Blue Yeti microphone. The company is Blue. The model of the microphone is the Yeti. There is also the Yeti Pro. I did not get that microphone because the only difference between the Yeti and the Yeti Pro is slight quality, very slight quality, and the main difference is that the Yeti Pro has a oh god, what's the jack called? SLR jack? Maybe that's what it's called. I do forget what it's called exactly. I think it's SLR, but if I'm wrong, correct me. And that's just to use as like for things other than USB microphones. If you're not using it with your computer, you would want that audio jack, but I'm just going to be using this for YouTube, so a USB microphone is fine with me. So I hope you guys like this microphone a lot better. I was able to purchase it because for the last video that we produced, the one right before this one, was the Dofus time video. Alright, so I'm going to address this now. I say Dofus. I know it's pronounced Dofus, but I have played this game for so long calling it Dofus that it's gonna keep happening. Maybe I'll try and correct it, probably not. But whichever one you hear, know that I do know it's called Dofus. So the last Dofus time was sponsored by Ankama, the company that makes Dofus. They reached out to all the different communities, so Portuguese, all the different language barriers, Portuguese, English, Spanish, English, maybe a couple others, I think German, yeah, German. Those are the videos that I saw. Yeah, I saw English by us, Dofus Reflex. I believe German was done by Yama Plays or something along that line. French was done by Humility. The other two I do not remember the channel names for. But what Ankama did for this Dofus time was rather than produce it themselves. So if you don't know, Ankama has the Dofus-int channel. I'll type that in chat real quick. Dofus Int, which stands for Dofus International, which is their English YouTube channel, and they have produced the Dofus times on there before this one, and their Dofus times were all written and scripted and voiced by Ismar, who is the English community manager, and were edited by Ankama employees. And this time they decided to reach out to the community, like all the different communities, and get YouTubers from each community to make the Dofus times for them. So that is what we did, and it was paid. So I used my portion of the money. Mayu and I both worked on this, so we split the money, and I used my portion to get a microphone so that it could be kind of beneficial to, if they're going to help us out by giving us the opportunity to gain more subs by making that Dofus time, then I'm gonna use that as a way to give back to the subs and not make you listen to that awful quality that was my microphone before. So in this video, I am just gonna kind of talk and not really do too much in game, but I guess I'll just mage in the background. So this is my first time recording with this microphone. Can't speak. I did not make the Dofus time with this microphone. I made it with Mayu's microphone, which was the Blue Snowball. So this is actually my first time recording using this microphone, so if it sounds terrible, sorry. I'll have to change some settings about it. Alright guys, so I just waited for a little bit. I think the person I was supposed to mage for, Rukai, is AFK. What's up, The-Epiphany? And yeah, so I'm just gonna see what I have to mage. I can mage this. Did I already sign it? I did. Alright, so I do not know if my keyboard or, oops, I accidentally just hit the microphone. Not sure if you can hear that. But I don't know if you can hear my clicks or my keyboard too much. Hopefully not. But, oh, he's back. Alright, so I'm just going to be kind of maging in the background and talking about it. To do with maging, though, this is important. So I have been doing a lot of work with maging recently, not in game. Well, yeah, in game, but not like to make commas. I've been doing a lot of researching about maging, and combined with other people's thoughts and some websites that helped me out, I have learned a lot about it that I didn't know before recently. So I am going to be making a completely revamped, completely updated maging guide pretty soon that will cover everything that the last maging guide, well, it will cover everything in the last maging guide that I did, which is the only maging guide that is on this channel. So it will cover everything in that video plus everything that I've learned since then, which is a lot. So it's going to be a long video. It's going to be really long. I'm going to work on editing it and making it concise, to the point. But yeah, there's a lot of information that recently I learned, and I've been kind of looking back at that video, and there are things wrong with it. I miscount sync, and so there are some issues with it, but it's not terrible. So if you are watching this and I haven't made the updated maging guide, that video will still help you a lot. It's definitely worth watching. But once I make the new one, that video should become obsolete, because the new one's going to cover everything in it more clearly. I'm going to use, before I used Notepad, like I had Notepad on my screen, like I just did this and I was writing down notes like that. That is so lazy. Like, this is just the laziest way to put text on the screen. It works, and it worked well for that video, but I'm going to try and make it more professional than it was, and it's going to be a guide that anyone from any level of maging should be able to learn from. It's not going to be geared towards beginners. It's not going to be geared towards experts. It's going to gradually get harder and harder as the video goes on. So I'm going to start, talking about what sync is, what runes are. I have a new updated chart. So if you remember from the last video, if you watched it or are into maging, I made a chart that had all the sync values, all the overmage values, all the rune names. So I have an updated chart with that. And so with that chart and with a bunch of other stuff, I'm going to probably be appealing to a wider audience than the first video was, because if you already knew a lot about maging before, that video did not help you that much. It doesn't go in depth at the end. It just sets you up for maging, knowing what sync is, being able to use sync, but beyond that, it didn't go too in depth. So on this, I guess we are going for 2% melee resistance, percent melee resistance, overmage or exomage. So we can, He said he wanted perfect fixed damages. He may have told me other stats. I did not read them though, but that's good enough stats for my preferences. 1, not 1. Oh yeah, we actually do still have 1. Alright, well he has no more runes. Alright guys, we're back. He is feeling very lucky. Let's see if he was right for feeling that lucky. Nope. So I always call people that come back with, you know, the 1 rune that we're missing and just put that in. Oh, yeah, what the? Dude. I'm just going to start spamming it. I'm going to put in 6 AP and combine all. Dude, come on. I know. Okay, so he told me it was PVM. Whoops. Yeah, so he told me it was for PVM. So I'm kind of ragging on him for nothing. I mean, my PVM gear for the team. Oh, the team! The team! I forgot. All right. So I'll finish my sentence. I was kind of ragging on him, even though my PVM team gear, our PVM team gear, the ones that I maged, are pretty bad for onlookers. Like if I were to link you one of the items in our PVM team's sets, you would think it's a bad mage, but it works for PVM, so it doesn't really matter. But the team. So we kind of introduced that topic, and then we made a bunch of structured video about other topics, and it was almost done when we kind of made the video about the team. We were leveling them, we were getting their sets, and then it just kind of disappeared. So what happened? The team is finished. Completely done. All in sets, all level 200, all on different accounts. They're done. But we're going to have to redo it all. So for update 2.45, which is happening tonight, actually. That's happening at 12 a.m. tonight. So yeah, that will change everything. All of our pretty much all of our characters are going to need new sets. Yeah, so we didn't have time really to film any content while the team was finished, and it was still before update 2.45. We kind of just were sidetracked with a bunch of other videos. He told me he needed max fix. But yeah, we were sidetracked with all these other videos because the videos that we've been producing are higher quality than some of the other stuff, and you know, that's up to your interpretation how high quality they are, but they are higher quality than our casual videos, so they did take longer to make, and we didn't have too much time to film anything about the team. But just so you guys are kept in the loop, the team is done. If you don't know what the composition is, there's a video titled PVM team on this channel, and that kind of goes over what I'm talking about right now. He's not answering. I'm about to just put another melee res on this. Come on. Yeah, so that will explain it to you, and what I explained in that video is now achieved, but it's no longer relevant because 2.45. So that is where the team is at right now. Nice. That's actually pretty good for us that we just dropped that damage. Yeah, we got the free try there, and now it's gone. So I'll bring this up to 4, I guess. Damage is 20 sync if you are unfamiliar with sync values and maging. So damage is 20 sync, flat damages like this, and a summon, just to give you kind of a basis to base that off of, a summon is 30 sync. So a damage, although it's not a stat that you may think is too important, in maging it is. So on an item like this where there is no summon, there is no range, there is no AP or MP, damage becomes important. And that is a sneak peek of the maging tutorial guide that's not out yet. No, I'm just kidding, that's very basic. But to talk more about the maging guide, so I did a lot of work this week with negative sync values. I spent a lot of hours yesterday on both Dofus Planner and on beta and on this server. Res is the only thing that has to be perfect, so sacrifice. Alright, so he wants this fixed res at 10. I did a lot of work with negative sync values, and what I mean by that is sorry, I'm like splitting my brain right now. I'm talking about something I'm not doing. It's hard. I gotta get the hang of it. So if you have a negative stat, so for example, what's a popular one? Treadfast. On Treadfast, you have negative critical resistance, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that maged off of Treadfast, or at least, you know, close to 0. Usually they are at negative 16ish. I think they all actually are at negative 16 melee. Not melee. Melee damage is what I'm maging right now. They're at negative 16 critical resistance, and the critical resistance can be maged off using on the amulet, the AP, on the boots, the MP, and on the belt, nothing. I mean, like, good luck. But they have different sync values when they are negative, and that's for almost all runes, have different sync values when they're negative. So that means that it was assumed that all sync values when negative are 1/2. It was assumed, so for example, the crit res is 2 sync positive, so on an item that does have crit res, or just doesn't have negative crit res, it's 2 sync per 1 crit res rune. And when it's negative, so on Treadfast, it is 1 sync. And that one is an example of something that is half stat. But I ran into a weird scenario where I was counting sync and I got it wrong, and it was negative sync. And that got me thinking, like, I have been assuming that this is 1/2, but I never tested it. So I recently went through on every single negative stat in the game, every single one, every stat that can be negative, which isn't actually every stat. Like, there's no stat that does negative pods that I could find. There's no stat that has negative flat damage that I could find, and there's a couple others that are included in the chart, the updated version of the chart, which will be released when the maging guide is released. One sec, let me just read what he's saying. Make it 5 damage, and I'll get more melee. Let's cancel 2%, just 1%. 5 to 6 damages. Okay, that sucks. Damage is not fun to mage. It's just about to, like, nuke this item. So I ran into that problem where I was assuming it was 1/2 sync because that's what I was told, but then I was maging and it. Hey guys, sorry for the quick interrupt. This is ability post-production, and unfortunately the audio for the rest of this recording got corrupted. I still have it, but I sound like a robot. There's something wrong with my mic in it. I'll play a quick clip right here. It was wrong, or at least in my eyes it was wrong. I recounted. So I'm not exactly sure what caused that. I'll have to do some research. This is a new microphone, so maybe there's a setting, or I don't exactly know. I'll do some research after the fact. But unfortunately, the rest of the audio for this recording is shot, so I'm just going to find the important video pieces and voice them over. And to continue the story that got cut off that I was telling, was I was maging an item with negative sync stat, or with negative stat on it, and I was maging the negative stat. And while I was maging this negative stat, I don't exactly remember what item it was, the item started reacting as if I had miscounted the sync. So I said, okay, I must have just forgot to use half sync value or something. So I go back, I recount. I was like, I'm pretty sure I remembered to use the half sync value in the calculator, because the rule has always been, if there's a negative item or a negative stat on an item, you use half the normal sync value, unless it's at -1. I'll cover all that later in the tutorial. I'm not meaning to make this a tutorial, but this item started reacting as if I miscounted the sync. So I went back, I recounted all the sync. I was reading through the sidebar of the mage. I recounted all of it, and I was right. Using the half sync value, I was right. So I was wondering why it started reacting as if I had no more sync left. And the only logical reason in my brain was that the half sync value that I had accepted to be true was not in fact true. So then I started testing them this week. I went through every single negative stat in the game. I tested every single negative stat in the game. Every rune or every single stat that can be negative, I went through and tested. And they are not, the 1/2 sync rule while negative is not true. That is a false rule of maging. I tested it over and over. I presented my argument to outside sources. I presented it to Mayu. I presented it to a couple other people. I got agreement from them. So unless there's something that has been overlooked by me and a couple other people, a couple other friends, then the 1/2 sync rule is indeed a rumor. It is partially true, which is how it is a successful rumor. For crit res, it's exactly true. Its critical resistance when negative is exactly 1/2 sync. That is true for a lot of runes, not every rune though. So after all my testing, I have all of the values for negative sync in my updated version of the chart, which will be released with the new maging tutorial. But I wanted to make that clear that rule, the 1/2 sync rule, is not fully true. And I will be covering that later on. So that was really interesting to me. I'm excited to go over that because I have not seen, I have seen one website with correct values for negative sync, mostly correct, I should say, but a couple of theirs were off. So I believe my chart is 100% accurate. I'm going to keep testing it between now and then and just, double check, be completely sure before I make this in-depth tutorial. I want to make sure that I have everything right. But as of right now, I would say 95% positive that I have all the values right. So yeah, look forward to that. And I am going to find the rest of the parts in this video that had interesting voiceover, and I'll cut to those. Hey guys, so at this point in the video, I noticed the Epiphany in the maging room. That's the Osamodas there. And this is a person that I have been friends with in game for a while. I have kind of showed him how to mage a little bit. He's done work on his own with that as well. But he has a video, or sorry, not a video. He has a channel on YouTube that posts English voiceovers of both PvPing and maging, which I know, like English content, extremely rare to find on this game. So if you guys like maging and PvP, he now posts videos about both of those. So if that's something that sounds like it would interest you, make sure to go check out his channel. I will link that in the description here. I just had him send me it in chat so that I could have it to link. So yeah, if you guys want to see his English content, go check that out. I will link that below. And now I have to go find another part in the video that has important voiceover. Alright guys, so the rest of this video is not so important for voiceover. I listened through some of the robotic version of my voice. It's giving me brain tumors, so I'm gonna just stop and assume that none of it's important. I don't exactly remember what happens, but I finished the mage here, got a critical success on the 1% melee damage, so that was nice. The mage was for his PVM gear, I guess. Dagger Do, if you don't know, is really, although it's not a level 200 weapon, it has high crit damage bonuses, also high crit ratio, and it hits in 3 different damage distributions, so that increases the critical damage effect by 3, and it's pretty good for both PvP and PVM if you're close combat. So that is all I have to say for this video. It was a bit of a long one, sorry for that, but I haven't posted a casual video. Neither of us have in, I think, like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 videos. So here's this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you're looking forward to in 2.45. Let me know what you think about the microphone, about the maging guide, about so much, about the team. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped about what's going on in Dofus, and until next time, this has been Ability, signing off.